I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Mr. President, what do you want to do about that?
And I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
So the bill I'm going to sign today is legislation that is going to allow Florida to recognize gold and silver as legal tender in our state. And we have the ability to do that under the federal Constitution. There are only 2 states that have done it thus far. They're smaller states. We are the first large state to step up and to get this done. And this is right out of the Constitution of the United States. So this legislation will authorize money services business like check cashers or PayPal to transmit and accept payment in gold and silver. That means these precious metals can start functioning like real currency again, not just investment vehicles for the wealthy. And you notice what's happened in recent weeks and months. How has gold gone down or has gold gone up? Gold's gone up big time because investors are looking at this and they're hedging against, they see the bond yields have gone up. I think they moderate a little today, but when people start seeing that, gold is a place they're going to. So
it is participating in it with real skin in the game. So what can a governor do to help lead the way to that vision where every kid is able to participate in the magic of American capitalism and compounding, to not be spiteful towards the successful by being successful instead? One of the things I will do is I will lead Ohio to be the first and top state in the country to integrate financial literacy into our public education that includes the power of compounding, including education about Bitcoin as an asset class that every young person ought to be aware of as they make those financial decisions.
I think it'd be great if the U.S. government started proactively acquiring Bitcoin.
What do you guys think about that?
That's about as big a rise as Fire Gary Gensler getting last summer.
So the executive order establishing the strategic Bitcoin reserve does allow the government to purchase more if it can be done in a budget neutral way. So specifically, if either the Commerce Department or the Treasury Department can figure out how to fund it without adding to the debt, then they are allowed to create those programs. So if we can convince Howard Lutnick, who's the Commerce Secretary, or Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, to buy some, and they can figure out how to fund it, without a new tax or without adding to the debt, that maybe find the money from some other program that's not using it, then we could potentially acquire more Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, this is obviously not financial advice, but
we have to throw in the disclaimer language, right? Because we've all suffered through the lawfare, and I'm sure they're going to start up their usual nonsense again, and you see it. But,
exactly.
So yeah.
Where do you see Bitcoin in 2 years and in 5 years?
I think I sort of alluded to it earlier, but I think we're going to the moon, guys. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Just stay in, stay strong. We're like I said, we're in it from all these different ways, whether it's Truth Social, whether it's what we're doing with American Bitcoin on the mining side, World Liberty Financial, on the DeFi platform stuff. I mean, we're true believers. We're guys that came from a different world. We saw what was missing. We saw how fragile those ecosystems were, how manipulated they were. I think we want to help and be a big part of the leading edge, of changing the future of that. Again, of democratized finance. I think we're just at the forefront, and it's only going up.
Stream asset, and the difference this year is the participation from listed corporates, so MicroStrategy and its copycats, who are really, the equity capital markets right now are wide open for crypto strategies, and that's been the hottest part of the market. And then the second category is government. We're going to hear from J.D. Vance. There was a big announcement yesterday from Pakistan, who's now going to allocate 2 gigawatts of power towards setting up some national Bitcoin mining efforts, and I think that's the leading edge, right? So this asset class is transitioning from a retail dominant asset class into something that is accepted by institutions, and institutions include both listed corporates and governments. Last year, the story was about funds buying, like our own Bitcoin ETF and the 10 similar projects that launched, gathering flows from both individuals and financial advisors. This year, the biggest buyer of Bitcoin has been these corporates who are raising equity in the public markets in order to fund Bitcoin's treasury strategies. So we used to wonder whether every corporation might put 2 or 3% of their balance sheet into Bitcoin in order to outperform the S&P 500. Now it looks like a handful of companies that are putting 100% of their assets into Bitcoin. Maybe they're going to end up buying the S&P 500 if this continues.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Trump speaking on Putin, playing the Hegelian dialectic. Putin has changed. He doesn't know what's going on with Putin. Then, of course, Putin speaks, and of course, it's not going to come on our mainstream media, but he says they're trying to choke him, and he's going to choke first. And then you get news that his helicopter was attempted to be shot down. And we know if that would have happened, we know Armageddon would have started. And we know Armageddon is clearly around the corner. And we have Desantis from Florida. Yes, he did it. He signed it. Silver and gold is back legal tender, going off the Constitution. And we know there's going to be a whole lot more states to follow. You're going to have a whole lot of people just move to Florida just so they can keep the value of their currency. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Vivek pushing financial literacy. Says in Ohio he'll be teaching about compound interest and Bitcoin to the youth, bringing it to all the schools. And I told you a long time ago, I'm an old man. I've never in my life heard so much about financial literacy. But remember, guys, you don't want them teaching your kids. You want to teach your kids yourself. You definitely want to get yourselves educated. I tell you this time and time again every day. And then we have David Sachs. Knows the government does not need to buy Bitcoin. Why? Because they get it for free. And remember, the Crypto Teacher tells you. And we have Trump Jr. says Bitcoin is going to the moon. And we have the Trump family is definitely making billions. And that's why I tell you guys, I definitely don't see Trump finishing this 4 years, but definitely his family is getting paid. So you definitely got to love it. And we have Matthew Siegel says big corporations are coming into Bitcoin. But we know the big corporations and big banks were funding crypto from the beginning. And remember, the Crypto Teacher tells you. And this stablecoin bill approval is so important because it allowed them to move this fourth industrial revolution fast forward. They'll be able to pay people to sit at home while the NWO allows the machines to take over the economy. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Trump Jr. explains the Hegelian dialectic perfectly. Social media banned Trump, so he created his own. Debanked them, so they moved to Bitcoin and crypto. And this is the perfect plan. You have the president and the president's family pushing this space, while the real beneficiaries sit behind the curtain, and that's the big banks too big to fail. This is definitely a genius plan. Evil genius, but definitely a genius plan. Because if the banks had done this, of course the people would have pushed back. But if you get the private sector to do this, and of course they're selling it, it's going to be cheaper, faster. We're already digital. It's just going on blockchain. But of course, the people don't understand this technology because it's going to give the government the ability to control whether you buy or sell. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I think for this bill that's specifically structured for full collateralization, it's much better for onshore U.S. stablecoin companies. And you can see that banks are kind of fighting back on that. Banks are saying, oh, but we want special treatment. We want fractional reserves. We want to be able to lend it out. Yet, I think this bill is extremely beneficial for the U.S. to keep dollar issuance and stablecoin issuance onshore because this is a gold standard that the rest of the world is going to follow. And without that, as Tether CEO was saying, Paolo, last week, that they've chosen historically to issue fully offshore, and that's not great for regulation.
And we talked about the benefits for the companies that are behind this and for the industry. But when you think about it from the perspective of a consumer who may not even understand necessarily what a stablecoin does, what is the promise there?
The promise is borderless, 24/7, permissionless accessibility of the dollar. And previously, if you're someone who lives in a country with poor ID issuance and you may not have a national identity, it's impossible for you to access the dollar. All you can get is like second-hand, third-hand dollar bills. And now everybody, we've seen in the industry that people really want dollars because they want to get out of inflation or they want better investment products. But where Solana and Prana are ahead of most of the industry is that not only do we see demand for stablecoins as just the dollar, but we're seeing dollar-based and U.S. economy-based investment products coming on chain, which is what we were talking about at Accelerate last week.
We formed Truth Social to make sure that we always had that avenue to get out there. And so it was really a product of necessity once you realized, again, how fragile those ecosystems that you took for granted were. So, now, we're in crypto. We're seriously long crypto. We're seriously long Bitcoin. Everything from, you saw the announcement even today, TMTG, Truth Social, literally creating a Bitcoin treasury to the tune of $2.5 billion. That's a pretty big deal, right? There's not a lot of people that have done something that big or shown that level of commitment. And the fake news is going to fake. They're out there saying you're going to use the money for other things. No, we're saying this is what it's for. It's for literally Bitcoin. We're then working with the guys from Hut 8 on the crypto mining side, where we're doing, American Bitcoin, forming a group to actually go after all of those things to create those reserves. On the, more crypto side, pure crypto, you have World Liberty Financial, because that's going to, in my opinion, DeFi is going to change so many aspects of the financial systems, create the efficiencies that we need that have been lacking. Again, coming from TradFi world, it was like, of course you pay points in and out, and of course you pay a point for, title insurance and all these things that no one's doing anything special for. Like, that can be handled with the blockchain. So, we're in 3 major deals, and I think the future runway for all of the things as it relates to these ecosystems is so vast. I think we're going to change with all of the support of the people in this room. You guys are on the leading edge of changing the financial markets. And with David Sachs speaking before that, you see people who know what they're actually talking about, creating the regulatory framework within government. I'm outside of government. I'm doing this stuff in the public markets and then the private sector. But guys that actually know what they're talking about, as opposed to the usual way of DC is, you've just been there longer, so you get to make all these decisions even though you don't know what you're talking about. We have such an incredible opportunity as a country to capture what I believe and truly believe will be the future of finance. And it's all the people in this room who were frankly probably believers before I ever was. But it took having the rug pulled out from us, not in the meme coin sense, but from the, you know what I'm talking about. Having that pulled out from us in a system that we thought was pretty good, and it worked for us for a long period of time. So it's awesome. And I still truly believe it. I know there's guys that have been in this for over a decade. I truly believe we're still at just the beginning. So the opportunity abounds.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, They're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.